And good morning. Welcome in. It is game day Saturday, and you are tuned into the OHIO podcast game day call-in show. I am your host, the Wildman, Chris Wilds, and we've got an absolutely massive slate of college football ahead of us today, guys. None bigger than our own Buckeyes, who are traveling to Seattle to face off against the Washington Huskies. Before we get rolling, let's get everybody like, subscribe, share this and every episode of the OHIO podcast. Don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss any time that we drop fresh content, which we do all the time. Guys, pregame, postgame, midweek recruiting, we got you covered. And hey, the OHIO podcast, we are the official podcast of the College Huddle. Head on over to thecollegehuddle.com where you can check out content from over 85 podcasts covering the entire landscape of college football. If it's happening in college football, you can bet on the fact it's happening on the College Huddle. All right, guys. Huge week ahead in college football. Buckle up because the national picture could shake up a lot this week. Number one, Ohio State, as I mentioned, they're traveling out to Seattle to face an undefeated and what I consider underrated Washington Huskies team. Penn State, number 3, they host Oregon in a whiteout at Beaver Stadium. Oregon comes in ranked number 6 in the country. You got number 5 Georgia squaring off against number 17 Alabama. Yeah, that's right. You heard it. Alabama, the big underdog in this one. Number 4 LSU. They're heading down to Oxford to take on number 13 Ole Miss. By the way, just on a side note, can we just talk about the fact that somehow the SEC has 10 ranked teams? 4 of them, or 3 or 4 of them, have 1 loss and are ranked above undefeated Big Ten teams. That's an issue. Anyhow, I digress. Number 11, Indiana. They're going to roll into Kinnick Stadium to face an always dangerous Hawkeyes team. And then you got Texas A&M, who brings in Auburn this week. They're trying to bounce back off a loss to Oklahoma. What about USC? Are they for real? We're going to find out maybe as they travel to Champaign, Illinois to face off against an Illini team that is licking their wounds after being humiliated by Indiana last weekend. And if that wasn't enough, guys, last night we saw 2 of the undefeated top 25 teams go down to unranked opponents. Florida State got clipped by Virginia. TCU loses to Arizona State. Is it upset season? Should the college football world be on alert? I don't know. So, Buckeye fans, as we roll into Washington to face the undefeated Huskies, who are riding a 22-game winning streak, I got to ask, are you concerned? Michigan, they've got all the momentum right now, no doubt. 22 home wins. That's nothing to sneeze at. But the Huskies are limping in on this one, guys. For those of you who don't know, their starting linebacker, Tariq Al-Uqda, I hope I got that right. Tariq Al-Uqda, he's out after an ankle injury last week versus Washington State. Maybe the even bigger question, Takario Davis. He went down week 2, hasn't been seen since. If Davis can't go, what does that mean? He is their best corner, and you're trying to defend Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate with a guy who their number 2 on the depth chart is a true freshman. Guys, that's going to make it a whole lot tougher. Meanwhile, our Buckeyes, they did get some good news on the injuries trail. Lorenzo Styles Jr. dinged up last time out. He's healthy and ready to roll. So we love to see that. So phone lines are open. Looks like we got 4 in queue already. 567-483-1999. I want to hear your thoughts on today's matchup. Give me your score prediction. Give me your pick to click as far as the players go. And guys, give me any concerns you may have about this trip out west. Again, that number is 567-483-1999. So we're going to head on over to the phones right now. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to kick this thing off with Buck Vader. Good morning and welcome to the OHIO Podcast Game Day Call-In Show.
Good morning, Wildman. It's Vader. Well, we survived another bye week. I can't wait to the game today. I got a preview of today's game and thoughts on the other big games. But first I got some recruiting news.
Hit me, lay it on me.
A 2026 defensive end Dre Quinn has decommitted from Clemson. I can't imagine why. He's a 4-star. My source said this is coming down to the Buckeyes and Texas. I have two Ohio guys on flip watch. Rita interior offensive lineman. A underrated 3-star in my opinion. The other is Williams, a 3-star linebacker. He is almost criminally underrated. His measurables and stats are as good or better than Tyler Atkinson, who is a 5-star. If we can flip Williams from Indiana, I'm going to be over the moon. I also have some big 2027 news. David Gabriel George is seriously considering reclassifying to 2026. I'm putting Kalel Johnson and Rolando Perez on commitment watch. We also have two high-priority targets attending the Washington game. Duncan, a 2026 cornerback, and Crew Jones, a 2027 edge. If you like this information, get a membership. Last night the Podfather dropped a membership-only video with many more exclusive details, including Vader booms. This is the type of content the Ohio podcast team will provide in the very near future. You don't want to miss out.
Yeah, guy. I'm with you. I can't imagine why somebody would be decommitting from Clemson right now, because they aren't god awful or anything. Great stuff there, Vader. Love that recruiting news, guys. We are so lucky here at the OHIO podcast to have Vader and Mika both in our in our little family here, because let me tell you, these guys are the experts that the experts go to. These guys are in the know, so if they say keep an eye on that, we need to do just that. Williams, yeah, the Indiana recruit. That's twofold type of greatness there, Vader, because if we can flip that young man, we keep him away from Indiana and get him over to Ohio State. That's a double win. I tell you, recruiting is not really a hot topic right now, but man, yeah, you dropped some juicy tidbits on it that's making it pick up just a little bit. What else you got for us this morning?
I think this game is going to tell us if the Buckeyes have the best defense in college football. I believe they do. I think our front seven will contain Washington quarterback on the read option. They also only have one receiver I'm worried about. On offense, I think Washington will play a lot of man coverage. I don't think this will go well against our receivers. Their defensive soft, they are averaging 17 missed tackles a game. That's against weak competition. I believe Bo Jackson could have another 100-yard game. On Wednesday, he was seen wearing a small lightweight brace on his knee. I'm being told it's not considered serious and he's a full go. The biggest challenge for the Buckeyes is the crowd noise in Sayin first road game. I believe Sayin is up to the task. I'm just saying. I have the Buckeyes winning 42-17.
Yeah, I saw that earlier this week, Vader, when you dropped that bomb on us. That's a big spread, man. And you're right. I think we're going to find out if the Buckeyes defense obviously is for real, because this is a powerful Washington offense. Make no mistake, this is an explosive offense. Their quarterback, that young man is no joke. He is a serious dual threat. He's the team's second leading rusher. Damon Williams is, and he's completing 74% of his passes nearly. Guy has yet to throw an interception. So this is a legitimate offensive team. Defensively, I've got a lot of questions about Washington, especially with the injuries. To me, this is a Washington team that we should be able to exploit, especially if they still do not have their star corner. I think we should be able to exploit them in the passing game. They are allowing 200 I believe it's 276 games per yards per game that they were allowing. I can't recall exactly, but it was somewhere in that area. They're allowing quite a few passing yards. I think we can exploit that. I think Bo Jackson does have the ability to have another 100-yard game. I agree with you 100%. I do expect to see all three running backs again today. Because I'll tell you, I think this game could start out as a bit of a struggle early. We are on the road. Washington, a very, very tough place to play. The crowd will be very intense, very into it. But I think by the half or shortly after the second half begins, you're going to see Ohio State's talent and depth just pull this out. I think you'll see Ohio State and their talent and depth just actually kind of run away a little bit. And originally, I had called this game quite a bit closer. I think I had originally predicted like a 28-14, something like that. However, I do think that you guys may be right. I think this may actually be a bit more of a spread than that, given the state of Washington's defense right now. So, do you have anything else for me, Vader?
I am looking forward to several games around college football. I think USC will end Illinois playoff dream. I have Georgia beating Alabama. This is the year Kirby Smart solves his Alabama problem. Indiana over Iowa. Texas A&M over Auburn. I'm talking LSU over Ole Miss. In the game everyone wants to see, Oregon will beat Penn State in a whiteout. Texas will put another nail in Napier coffin. Here's my hot take of the week. 3 of the top 5 preseason teams, Clemson, Texas, and Penn State, are in serious trouble of not making the playoffs. Preseason polls are pointless.
Yeah, I agree. And I think those preseason polls are exactly why we see a 1-2 Notre Dame team still in the rankings. They're why we see 10 SEC teams in the rankings. These polls are an absolute joke. Absolute joke. We should not be ranking teams until after, at minimum, week 6. And I actually like the way the CFP does it, picking up those rankings in week 8. I think that's when we really start to figure some things out. By week 8, you've got your preseason schedule, or your non-coms out of the way for the most part. You've got at least 2 to 3 conference games under your belt. That's the point where I think we're okay to start ranking. This preseason ranking crap is just ridiculous. And it's got teams in there that should not be. And it's holding out teams like Washington, who are 4-0, have been impressive on offense. Have they beat the best talent? No. I'll throw that out there. They have not. Their schedule has been nothing if not light. I mean, they had Colorado State to open the season, University of Cal Davis, and then Washington State, who is not a good team. Their 3 opponents are a combined 5-5, and one of them plays in a 2-team conference. You got another one playing in like the Colorado. I'm trying to remember, the Big Sky Conference, I believe, is where Cal Davis plays. I mean, they haven't played great teams, but guys, they're 4-0, and that needs to be rewarded and it needs to be acknowledged. So yeah, these ratings are a joke. I'm going to give you my picks on a lot of those games you talked about later. Vader, I'm going to close out the show with the Wildman's Weekend Locks. That's going to be my new segment at the end of the show before we end this, where I'm going to pick anywhere from 4 to 5 of the top games of the week to maybe consider putting $1 or $2 down on. You got anything else for me?
O.H. Wildman.
Hi, Vader. I appreciate the call, brother. You have a good game. Enjoy that game today. And hey, don't forget, if you don't want to listen to the commentators on TV, and I know you probably don't, you can tune in the online voice of the Buckeyes, Dr. Corey, as we have our watch party this afternoon at 3:30. All right. Next up in the queue, I believe, I could be wrong, this might be Tyler.
Good morning, Chris.
I knew it was. All right. Good morning, Tyler. How's it going, man?
I'm great. I was confused for a second because you put the time, you set the show time for 8 o'clock this morning.
Oh, that wasn't me. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna have to get on the boss about that. That was not a while. Because I'll tell you what, he's the one that sets all that stuff up in the system. Because I'm not gonna lie, I would have no idea whatsoever, not a clue. He's the one that does all that behind the scenes with that.
Okay, just wanted to let you know that though first.
All right.
There were some people that had that confusion, but I've been thinking, Chris.
Yeah.
This whole week.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone going into this, this is exactly how every team that faces Ohio State, they get all the. Have you noticed every team that plays Ohio State, the media hypes them up all the time, and then downplays Ohio State. Have you noticed that?
Well, there's always been a media bias for SEC. There's always been a media bias against Ohio State. I'm used to it. It doesn't even get to me anymore. I've realized that most of your mainstream commentary is done by absolute morons who probably don't know a draw play from a swing pass. That's what I've come to realize.
So going through this week, I'm thinking I respect Jonah Coleman. I respect Damon Washington, Denzel Boston. But who else do you have?
Well, and that's a good question. And if you look at their team, it's not a lot of well-known names outside of those three. They do have another decent receiver in Desmond Roebuck, who he's a guy who does have some breakaway speed, who he can play the game well. Two very explosive, or I should say explosive, one very explosive running back who is also a tremendous receiver in Coleman, like you talked about. But you know what? Adam Muhammad is also a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think the big question for this team, though, I think offensively they've got the weapons, Tyler. I do think offensively they've got the weapons. Defensively, I have a lot of questions because this is not a team that is stacked defensively. If you look at this team, they've got some decent. They're beat up. I mean, they've got some decent players. Obviously, Ugalili is their defensive tackle, big name guy. But outside of that, I mean, you're talking about Takario Davis, their best corners, beat up. The guy behind him in the two deep is a true freshman. Are you going to try to lock up a true freshman one-on-one with Jeremiah Smith, no. Carnell Tate, even with Brandon Ennis? I mean,
and he was getting picked on by Washington State too, Chris.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that Dylan Robinson isn't going to be a good corner. He may very well end up being a good corner down the road. What I'm going to tell you right now is, though, he's going to have a tough time against this wide receiver room, which is the best in the country. I mean, our number 6 guy could probably start at half the schools in the country. The linebacker Tariq Ukda, and I'm always afraid I'm mispronouncing that name. But he's the third leading tackler on the team. He's not playing. He's out. Yeah, he's got that ankle. Jacob Lane, a decent kid off the corner. With the rush, he's a decent edge rusher. Is Lane, but Ward, decent edge rusher. But again, what have they done against a quality team? Nothing, because they haven't played one yet. So I can see where your concerns, where your questions are, Tyler. Why you think that maybe they shouldn't be getting as much attention as they are. But I think we do have to, like you said, we do have to give respect to their offense, especially their three offensive stars. But I'll also say this: I don't think Boston has come up near against a corner anywhere near as good as what Ohio State's going to throw at him.
And what I was about to say, Chris, is Denzel Boston's nothing special that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I think he's a very good player, but he's not elite.
And the other thing too, Chris, is what are you going to do, Damon Williams, when we lock up? Let's say we double team Denzel Boston, right? What are you going to do? But
here's what he's going to do. He's going to run, Tyler. That's what he's going to do. This is where I'm interested to see what happens with Ohio State. Is how we handle a very good, elusive running quarterback.
I think we're going to contain him, Chris. I think
yeah. Are we going to see? Are we going to see those corners who've been trying to put pressure? Are we going to see them, staying at home more and just kind of turning things inside? I think that's probably what happens, and then letting the linebackers try to eat them up. Because we do have, I'll tell you, we have some fierce linebackers. You talk about obviously Arvell, you talk about Sonny, but then Peyton Pierce, nothing to laugh at. Pettyjohn, nothing to laugh at. These guys are good players, who, I think they can stop that run. So that's going to be the challenge though today is for me though is Ohio State's defense versus the running ability of Damon Williams, because I think we'll have him on lockdown as far as passing goes. 1 second before you jump in, Tyler. Yes, day 1K, Bo Jackson, as of right now, a little dinged up, but he's healthy. He's good to go. He's a full go today. So what else are your thoughts on today, Tyler?
Well, I'm going to add in on that too, Chris, is, all right, so my point was, all right, if we lock up Damon Williams on the run game and we lock up Denzel Boston, you have to go to your second read. Who is your second guy other than Jonah Coleman? Who is it?
It's going to be.
You're not going to be able to.
It's going to be Roebuck is going to be his second look, who is not Coleman. You look and don't discount Decker DeGraff either. DeGraff, the tight end, not big yards, but he is a guy who has a lot of catches, as is Rashad Williams. They both have 5 catches each. You look, once you get past Boston's 16 catches and Coleman's 8, everybody else is of the guys who are actually playing are in that 4 to 5 range. So you shut those two guys down. Yeah.
You have to pick us with those guys.
Yes.
Can you do it, Washington? Can you do it? I don't think so, because you haven't proved it. You have to prove it to me. I don't think that's going to happen today.
Yeah, I don't think it happens today either. But excuse me.
I'm not going to let Denzel Boston, Jonah Coleman, or Damon Williams beat me. You have to beat me with those other guys.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Oh, I gotta throw this comment out here for you because I know you'll appreciate this one, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Raul Havana who says, why isn't that coming up? There we go. If Craig Krenzel was playing quarterback, the Buckeyes would win by 50 billion points. I love me some Craig Krenzel, but he wasn't exactly a points machine, man. He was tough. He would get you what you needed. But putting up huge numbers was not a Krenzel thing.
No, that was not his game plan. That was not what Jim Tressel did. We were a defense and special teams led team in 3 yards in a cloud of dust. If Craig Krenzel was on this team, I don't think we would. I don't think we would have the success we have right now. It's just, I'm being honest. He doesn't fit the Ryan Day scheme.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. He's not a Ryan Day quarterback. But you know what? I almost feel like, and maybe this is just me, that over the course of the last year, and I don't want to dredge up old news, guys, but we've been very harsh on Ryan Day, myself included. The way he's called the football game since that last loss to that team up north, the way that he's, and I know he's not actually calling the games, that his OCs and his DC are doing the job calling the game, but whatever's happened in Ryan Day since that last loss to Michigan, he's changed, man. I think you could give him any quarterback. And I think we saw that with Julian Sand in week 1. You could give him any quarterback. Not to say that Sand is any quarterback, and he could find a way to win with him. He's learned how to adjust his game plans, guys. I mean, are we going to see week 1 versus Texas offense out here? Or are we going to see week 2 versus Grambling, week 3 versus OU offense out here where we're opening it up and exploiting things? I think the Washington defense is going to determine exactly what we do. This is a game that could be, a 28-14 game. This is a game that could be a, 60-35 game. Who knows? I would hope not. That would mean our defense wasn't as good as I thought. But, I just think that these offenses have explosive ability. Yeah, please give me your score prediction and your player to click.
I originally said 38-17, Chris.
Yeah.
But now thinking about it this week, I'm going 45-17.
I respect that. You and Vader are right about in the same category there.
I just don't see how Washington stays in this game. If you want this to be a shootout, like Eric said, Washington wants it to be, you have to make a lot of turnovers on defense, Washington, to keep in this game. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. And hey, welcome in everybody. It looks like we're getting some fresh names in there. People maybe I haven't seen before. Chris from the 740, welcome. I am also Chris from the 740. So, yeah, Tyler, I'm with you though. I don't think that Washington's not going to be able to run all over this Ohio State defense to put up the kind of numbers they've put up against teams like Colorado State and Cal Davis. It's just not going to happen. What I do think is Ohio State, if they choose to and decide to open it up, given the state of the Washington defense, I think they can run up the score like they did. Maybe not against Grambling, but definitely against OU. So.
Oh, yeah. And you said you wanted the player of
your player to click.
Defense?
Who's our player to watch? And give me one offense, one defense.
On offense, I'm going Jeremiah Smith. I think that he's going to have a very big day today. And on defense, I'm going Caleb Downs. I think he's going to have a big day too.
Yeah. I think Caleb and might have been Craig that mentioned it earlier. Somebody mentioned it in the chat. I can't remember who. I think he could have a very big day for one simple reason. I think he does maybe Caleb spends some time shadowing Damon Williams. He could be the guy responsible for coming up and nailing him when he decides it's a good idea to take off. So you could see him get quite a few tackles today, I think. Smith, he's gone over 100 in the last 2 games, guys. So we'll see what happens there. All right, so we got the Smith, we got Downs as your picks to click. All right, man. Okay, Tyler, well, I'm going to let you go, buddy. We've hit almost 15 minutes, and we're trying to keep them around 10, but the lines are light today, so I've got to go a little bit longer. We've only got 2 more callers in queue, so if you want to call in and be heard, please call us at 567-483-1999. All right, Tyler. Hey, you have a great day, buddy. Enjoy the game. Check out the watch party, 3:30 this afternoon. OH.
IL.
Go Bucks.
Bye, buddy.
See you later.
Go Bucks.
All right, next up, we've got Dave in Tampa. He's coming up, followed up by, it looks like we got TG as the next caller after Dave. And after that, guys, we have nobody in queue. So, hey, once you hear TG on the line, let's light up those phone lines. Dave, what's happening?
What's going on, brother?
Man, I have been down for a week. I have been sicker as a dog with pneumonia. Actually, it's been about 2 weeks. Been sick as a dog with pneumonia. But you know what? I'm feeling good because it's game day. We're back. We're back, and I'm pumped, and I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for this game. I'm glad it's I'm glad it's an early game on the West Coast. I think I'll help take the crowd out of it just a little bit, you know. And especially if we could go out there and we can get up on them fast and if we get up on them fast and take the crowd out of it, this thing will be super ugly. If it's a close going into halftime, 7-point, 3-point ball game going into halftime, I think it's going to get ugly for them to come out in the second half. I think Ohio State will run away. It's going to absolutely just run away with it in the second half. And I'm with you. Like I said, I'm thinking 45-17 on the score.
That's a popular one right now. I think we've got 4 or 5 people who've chimed in with 45-17. We've had a few 42-17s. Seems to be a pretty popular consensus with where most people think this one's going to be at.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to score 3 touchdowns. I don't think they'll sniff 3 touchdowns. And as far as player on offense, I want to go with Brandon Ennis. He's been really quiet. They have not targeted him a lot yet this year, but we also have not opened up that playbook a lot this year. And I think this is the game where the playbook has to start getting opened up. This is the type of game where you have to start open up the playbook a little bit and showing some stuff.
Yeah, I like the pick of Ennis. And this is why, Dave. I think that if it's the freshman who's out there trying to cover, and it looks like it could be the freshman who's got to go out there and be on either Jeremiah Smith or Carnell Tate, they're going to have to give him help, obviously. Going to have to give him help. There's a couple guys, so to me, if you're doing that, you're pulling a guy off of, you're pulling another guy into coverage from whether it's another safety, what have you. If Ennis can find the open spots, I think that he can blow this game up. So I like your pick of Ennis there a lot.
And I think Tyler's right. I think it'd be. You may not really notice it, but I really think the on defense, I think it's going to be Caleb Downs putting people in the right place. It's going to be Caleb Downs directing that defense, and you may not necessarily notice Caleb Downs, but he's going to be putting people in the spot that they need to be in. I'd say for defense, I have to look somebody up that's going to be in the front 7 and the back 7, really, for defense. And I think this could be a big game for Jay McClain. I really like him. And I think maybe up front, this could be a game where this could be a type of game where Caden Curry could eat.
Yeah.
One of those guys on that defensive line is going to eat today. One of them's going to eat.
Yeah, I like that.
But he's right. The player on that defense is going to be Caleb Downs. because he's going to make his plays, but he's going to put everybody else in the right spots.
You know,
'Cause
I'm glad
let me
you
tell you
mentioned
what,
that. Yeah, go ahead.
The best player on this team is Caleb Downs. The best player in the nation is Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs should be in New York for a Heisman. He's the difference maker that only people that know what they're watching see. And he's a different kind of dude. He's a different kind of dude. Yeah, he's an athlete, but his football IQ is all. You got another coach. You have a coach on the field.
Yeah,
Who
absolutely.
understands? He can his reads, his pre-snap reads, and his post-snap reads. I mean, you don't almost never see him out of position. Almost never see him out of position. He is by far the biggest. He's what puts everybody else in position for success. Is Caleb Downs, and like I said, he might go unnoticed, but if you pay attention to it today, he'll have everybody in the right. Everybody will be in the right spot.
Oh yeah,
everybody will be in the right spot. Washington will make a few plays, but you know what? You ain't got to worry about shutting them down. Just limit what they're going to do. That's all you can do with great players. With great players, you don't shut them down. Every once in a while that happens, but you just got to limit what they do. And
yeah,
I think you just let the front seven worry about the run game, and you let the backfield worry about the freaking pass game, and let's get it on, man. The thing they have is the crowd on their side. You take them out early. I tell you what, if we score more than 21 points in the first half, this game will be over 45 points. This game's probably going to 50 something.
I'll tell you,
we'll be in the 50s. If we score 21 points in the first half, I guarantee you we're going over 50.
I could see that. Because and you look at it, one of the big differences in Ryan Day this year is that it used to be we would get a big lead in the first half, and then Ryan Day would kind of sit on it, kind of slow things down, wouldn't let his second and third string guys go out there and really run the offense. It was just go out there and control the ball and don't lose this for us. Ryan Day is attacking with the second and third string now. He's letting them get valuable snaps that he knows that we're going to need in the long run. That's what I was saying earlier. This is a different Ryan Day in the way he coaches now. Something happened to him after that game versus Michigan last year. Something just tripped in him that, it clicked. And maybe we were all wrong, especially myself, judging him because he was a young coach who was learning. I think Ryan Day has truly found himself with that playoff run. And I'm with you. This is a coach who, if we get up 21, 28 points in the first half, and oh my goodness, it could happen. Make no mistake, it could happen. Because that's the big thing about a Washington team that is an offensive threat, is if they go out there, they're going to play fast. That's what they want. They want to play fast. They want a shootout. But if they're not scoring, that means they're giving us the ball back quickly. If this team goes out there and if Ohio State goes out there and defensively dominates in that first half, it could get very, very ugly very, very quickly. So I agree 100% with you. I don't know that it goes that high. I do think Washington does get a couple scores, but man, I feel where you're coming from. I could see it happening. I think there's a path to it. And I just want to touch on what you talked about Caleb Downs, because I think Caleb Downs is so valuable exactly for the reason you said. It's not so much the stats, although his stats aren't terrible. I mean, you're talking about a guy with 13 tackles and an interception through the first 3 games who hasn't played a full game outside of the game 1, which was, oh my gosh, it was a great battle versus Texas, but that game went just so slow. The limited number of plays on both sides of the ball, was just so slow. So
Yeah, it was a game control type of game
for both teams. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
something different. So not something we've seen in college football in a long time, I don't think. So yeah, the Caleb Downs, not the greatest numbers, definitely not bad numbers, but more important than anything, he is a coach on the field. This guy has a future as a coach when he is done playing on Sundays, where he will be playing. He is a guy with like you said, a tremendously high football IQ. And I just think back a couple weeks ago when you had Caleb Downs and we had a guy out of position, and Downs just switches positions with the guy, says, "You go here." Like, I know what your assignment is.
Yeah.
You apparently don't. Let's flip. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
when you've got a
Yeah.
player who can
His-
make
his
that kind of call
leadership-
on the field, that is special.
He has Tebow type of leadership
Yes.
skills. He is Tebow-esque when it comes to leadership, and he well, think about, let's just look at his DNA, right? Look at the family he comes from, right? It starts there. Look at the foundation that he has, and then he played for a year under Nick Saban, the GOAT. We can all agree that, we all know it. It's
Absolutely.
the truth. Then he comes and plays for Jim Knowles for a year. Now he's got Matt Patricia,
The mad scientist.
who's a mad scientist. You went from genius to the professor to the mad scientist, and mixed in. This will be the best defense that Ohio State will ever have.
Ooh, and that's a
The
huge
best defense
statement.
we will
That's a
ever
huge
have
statement.
Will probably be this year, because we're just so. Think about this. We got what's the name just went out of my head. One of the defensive backs. Dude's hardly even been on the field. Oh gosh, I can't remember the kid's name now. But
Safety or
hardly been on
corner?
the field this year. Safety, I think.
Hartford? Malik Hartford?
Hartford's hardly even been on the field.
And he's great.
Hartford could go to freaking the majority of the schools in the country and be a starter and be great. I mean, the talent is unbelievable. We're in a place now. Ryan Day's got the machine rolling that he's been trying to build. He's got it rolling now. Everybody's on with the vision. Like you said, he's different now. He's found who he is as a coach, and it's you want to talk about dynasties? I think what we're on the verge of is something like, I'm not going to say Nick Saban, but it's probably going to be rubbing. They're going to be rubbing elbows. Let's put it that way. They're going to be rubbing elbows.
And I would love to see that.
I don't know how long we're going to have Ryan Day. How much longer we're going to have him? I think we'll have him for the remainder of this contract of 7 years. After that, I don't know. But this next 7 years, look out.
I'll tell you what.
Look out, because we already have the bench. We already have the bench. It's already here.
Yeah.
To go for another 4 years for sure. Really 5.
Can I just give you my hot take? And this is one I was going to. This was a hot take I was holding off on releasing, but it's one that I think that needs to be out there. I'm with you. I think we have him for the next 7 years, but I hope we're not all hearing my beeping. There we
No.
go. Okay. My little diabetes alarm's going off, so it goes all through my phone. So I was hoping we weren't hearing the beeping out there. No, my hot take for Ryan Day. I think we have Ryan Day a total of 10 more years, and I think in those 10 years we get at least 3 national titles. So,
I would
3,
say it would be a minimum of 3 national
and
titles.
that's what I'm saying. We get at least 3 more national titles.
Yeah.
Over a
At
10-year
minimum.
stretch.
Yeah.
I think that this team under Ryan
Yeah.
Day is that good. And again, I feel like a hypocrite for saying it because I'm not going to lie. I was right there with my pitchfork at the head of the line last year after that Michigan loss. But he realized something that maybe a lot of us didn't because of how we were brought up in our old ways, and that maybe it's more about looking at the big picture, looking at the long game than just focusing on the game. Because in the long run, and I think he'll get that fixed as well. Don't get me wrong. I think he goes into Ann Arbor and knocks their teeth down their throat this year. But yeah, to me, I think it was a little short sighted the way myself and a lot of people were reacting to that loss. So I'm glad he proved us wrong, and I'm glad that he had the perseverance to outlast our idiocy. So,
well, there is that section of the fan base, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, you just look at his win-loss record.
yeah, I mean,
it's insane.
I mentioned it a couple weeks ago,
You know,
and I don't know if you were watching when I did, Dave, but I just want you to think about this. We are at a point where I think it's if Ryan Day wins, it's either 3 or 4 more games. Based on winning percentage, he will be the winningest coach in the history of college football. If he wins, it's either 3 or 4 more without a loss. He will, by percentage at that point, be the winningest coach in college football history.
yes, you can see the freight train. The Buckeyes freight train is coming around the bend right now. It's coming in. You've been hearing it in the distance. You're like, wow, that sounds like a train. Yeah. It's after that natty. It's rounding the bend. Look at the bench. Look, the coaching hires keep getting better.
Yes.
We're just, and you got guys that look like position coaches look like they're happy right where they're at.
Can I just say that we were all against this whole transition? I think we were stuck in our old school ways, and I still kind of am, and I'm still disappointed a little in the way that NIL and the transfer portal and the extended playoff all turned this into NFL light. Can I just say that it may have been the best thing in the world for Ryan Day, and we may have the best coach who is prepared to navigate that NFL light system. And I think we saw it last year. I think we saw it last year. I think we're seeing it moving forward. You talked about his coach selection, his player selection, his game plan. It is much more fit for this NFL light system.
And I'll tell you what, I noticed this last year, and I've seen it so far. I think I'm seeing the same thing this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even see it when we went to the 14 playoff, right? When the 14 playoff, a lot of teams were like, man, no, we're not that far off. We're like Michigan, right? They're like, hey, we're not that far off. They were like number 7. You could pencil Michigan in for number 7, just staying there, right? They're like, hey, there's not that much more we got to do to go win a natty, to get into the playoffs, right? Now they were cheating to do it, but you saw a lot of look who we see. We saw Cincinnati in there. We've seen TCU in there,
yeah.
right? If you're a team that has in your program history and are not, occasionally get to number 7, it's like, dude, you're not that far. Now Now you make number 7, you're way in. You're
Yeah.
way in.
Yeah.
There's 12 teams. Now you got 12 teams. You get like, dude, we just got to make it to number 12, and we're in.
And we're going to go to 16 in the near
That's
future.
a lot easier
That's the
goal.
thing.
And when it goes to 16, you're seeing these teams are playing better. The talent before they did a lot of them, they knew they were just going through the motions. They were going to try to win the games they could win. You know what I'm saying? Just have the best season.
Get a nice little bowl game somewhere, nice little mid-level bowl game. Yeah.
Exactly. Now you got all kind. You got 12 teams that can get in. Where it's like, hey man, come here for 4 or 5 years, and and we'll build something, and we're going to be in the playoffs. And then when it goes to 16, and it's going to be a whole man. I think the combination of stuff with the NIL, the transfer portal, and now with extending the playoffs, I think we have to stop at 16. I think I personally think it starts getting watered down.
It does.
12.
It does.
Really, it's honestly, it's watered down after 8.
8, yeah, I'm with you.
After 8, it really starts dropping off. You're not probably going to see a number 9 or number 10 team unless there's somebody that was. You know what? They didn't get stronger until near the end of the season. They had a couple of big wins, and they jumped in. They were able to squeeze in. Eventually, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like Ohio State, we stub our toe early, and got some freshmen or whatever, and then all of a sudden we just get hot. In the postseason.
And we saw that last
year.
We saw that last year. That is an NFL thing. It's not always the best team. It's the team that's the best at the right time. That team that gets hot at the right time. Now, I think last year Ohio State was the best team talent-wise, but they did. They stubbed their toe in Oregon. They had a brain fart at home against Michigan, but then they got hot at the right time, and the cream rose to the top, and it was over from there.
Yeah. And there'll be some teams you'll see that could do that kind of stuff at Georgia. I'm not going to be surprised. I really think one of the programs I really like the way it's headed, and everybody thought they were going to have a bad year this year, and I think they ended up having one of the best years of the year is Tennessee. Tennessee's just hanging out around there, just doing Tennessee stuff, and they look better every week. Yeah.
For me, I'll tell you, as I watch. If I'm watching for kind of like that team that has maybe not been talked about as much as it should, that team that's maybe really, really good, but because of conference or what have you, they're flying under the radar. I'm going to tell you right now, the Texas Tech Red Raiders are for real. They are a juggernaut defensively. They fly around the field. They just annihilate people. They've got a good offense. Texas Tech and the Big 12 this year. I don't know what Texas Tech might not be able to make some noise, might not be able to knock off some quality opponents from the SEC and even the Big 10. Another team that's down there that I think, it is one that is maybe being overlooked in that because of the conference is Iowa State. They've already got a big win versus Iowa. And Matt Campbell's a really good coach. He's a guy who, we've talked about as a possible replacement, at one point for Ryan Day. But he's got a win versus Iowa. He's knocked off Kansas State, who was ranked at the time. Guys, Iowa State is a talented team. They are a team that's for real. Are they a true national title contender? I don't think so. I don't think they're on the level of an Ohio State. I don't think they're on the level of an Oregon. I don't think they are on the level of a Georgia just yet. But Iowa State and Texas Tech are going to come knocking, and they're going to surprise some people.
Yeah, I watched that game last week, the Utah
my gosh.
Texas Tech game. And the defenses in that game were unbelievable. And I tell you what, when I thought it was over with for Texas Tech, when their quarterback got knocked out of that game, I tell you what, their backup quarterback, I don't think the other guy is getting his job back.
No.
I don't think the starter's getting his job back, because it was like it took him a little while to get in a rhythm, maybe about a quarter or so. He kept him in the ball game. The defense kept him in the ball game, and then it just started clicking with him. And he started getting on page with his offense, and he's a true freshman.
Yeah.
And the thing with the thing trying to pick the Big 12. You know what? You know why no one can ever pick the Big 12? You want to know why?
Because they don't play
too many dark
defense.
horses.
They don't play defense.
It's a dark horse. It's a dark horse conference. It's a dark horse conference. Typically, Kansas State, you can piss them. Kansas State and TCU in every year right off the rip as dark horses. You got two teams you can freaking every year you can put them in as a dark horse every year. I don't see that with Kansas State so much this year. I think that Kansas State's probably going to have to make a move here in the next year or two, because I don't think the coach they got now is the guy.
Yeah.
But it's a horse league, and Oklahoma State realized, like, look, man, we got to make a move, because we're going to get the farther you wait, the farther you're going to be behind. And I hate to see Gundy go. It seemed like there's a bunch of issues between him and the administration there.
Yeah.
And you got to move on. And it's probably better for Gundy. Go take a couple of years off. Go enjoy life for a couple of years. He's still young. He's still young. He's my age.
Take a job as an analyst somewhere and get back in. Yeah.
But
all right, Dave. Hey,
brother.
I gotta move on, man. Speaking of which, I've got another caller in queue who's been patiently waiting for almost an hour.
Oh, jeez.
So.
All right, brother.
All right. Hey, Dave, enjoy the game this afternoon. I'll talk to you next week. OH.
All right, brother. Hi-oh!
Go Bucks. All right, guys, we're coming up on TG. TG is our last caller in queue. If you want to call in, the number's 567-8483-1999. Again, 567-483-1999 is that number. And guys, we want to hear what your thoughts are on obviously Ohio State, Washington, but hey, we can talk anybody. We were just talking Big 12 football, so. TG, what's happening?
Yo. Everything's good. What's happening with you, my man?
So, TG, is there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I got you. So what's happening?
Yeah, so everything good. How about you?
Oh, man, I'll tell you, I was down. I've been licking my wounds for the last couple of weeks because of this pneumonia thing, but I'm feeling pretty decent today. I just got this nasty cough that's hanging with me, but man, I am so excited. We got Ohio State football back today. I've needed this. I hate the off week. It's so boring during the off week. And we get to game day. We got Vader coming in here dropping recruiting bombs on us, and it's a great start to the weekend. So what are your?
It is, and look, Chris,
Go ahead.
Chris, I get what you're going through, because, like I told you, I've been having a freaking problem with my throat. So.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on today? I mean, Ohio State, Washington.
The Washington game.
What's that?
The Washington game, only because it's like I hear a lot of people talking about the game, and look, I actually get it. Like, Washington has a really good offense, but the thing is, I've never seen them against a legit team. I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big problem. I don't know. Like, I think their offense is really good. From even what I've seen last year to even this year, I think they have a really good offense. But outside of Boston, outside of Boston and outside of, their quarterback, who do they have is the question.
Well, I do
outside
like
of
the
those
running
guys.
back as well, Jonah
Because,
Coleman. I think Jonah Coleman's a talented
oh
kid
yeah, well,
at
I
tailback.
almost forgot about Jonah Coleman. My bad.
But
Yeah, but outside of him too, that's the thing. He's like, I know the running back is really good. I want to know outside of them, who do you have? Who do you have?
outside of those
That's
three,
the
they
better,
don't have
because
a
in the
lot.
passing game, I don't. Yeah, because here's the funny thing: if you're Ohio State, the one thing you know is these guys have three players that you need to keep their fullest attention to. Denzel Boston, who's the son of David Boston, the great wide receiver at Ohio State, and it's not surprising his son's very good. You have freaking their quarterback, who is a great dual threat. I'm not going to say
Yes.
he's as good as Fields, but you can see some similarities there. And then you have freaking their running back, who's also really good as well. Like, if you put your attention on those three and you focus on taking them out of the game, I think that you have a real shot of stopping this offense. Because in my opinion, I think this offense runs on those three. And if you only have those three as your weapons, to me, that's not good. You need to have more weapons than just three guys, especially because it makes it that much easier to game plan for. And then obviously when it comes to Boston's defense, I gotta say, their defense is a joke. I'm sorry, I can't take their defense seriously. Like, yeah, they got that one superstar corner,
But he's
even
out.
if
He may be out.
healthy, how are you? No, I'm saying even if he was healthy, because I think he's out too. But even if he was, is that actually going to guarantee that your defense is really going to do any good against this Ohio State offense? Because it ain't just Jeremiah Smith you got to worry about.
Right.
Like, I think Jeremiah can go toe to toe with him. But outside of him, again, you got Carnell, you got freaking Brandon Ennis. Like, I know a lot of people talk about Ennis, but there were times, and go back to the Ohio game, there were times he was open and saying missed him, but there were times where teams ended up covering him when he was looking at Brandon Ennis' way. So, I think Brandon Ennis could have a breakout game only because for Washington, you got to worry about freaking, Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, the two freaking extraterrestrials of wide receivers. Like, you got to worry about those two. So I think Brandon Ennis can have himself a breakout game. And when I look at our defense, like, I think Arvell, Caleb Downs, Jalen McClain for sure. I say Jermaine Matthews as well will all have breakout games. And on the defensive line, who I think have a breakout game could be Kenyatta. Kenyatta's have very good, but I think he could have himself a really good game. Caden Curry. I think this also could be the game Edric Houston breaks out as well. I think this could be the game we start to see him really come around this time around as well.
Yeah.
So, when it comes down to it, I think our defense will be able to handle them because they have a great game plan, and I think they're going to do exactly what they've been doing against all these other quarterbacks, which is confuse the heck out of Desmond Williams. I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. Now, to me, TG, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, I think we're going to see some things we haven't seen, obviously, out of Matt Patricia this week. But I think we are going to see a lot of them trying to just contain Williams to the pocket, keep him in there where he's got to beat them with his arm, which he's decent throwing the ball. He's completing what, 75% of his passes. I believe there's 74% of his passes, which is solid. That's really solid. Yeah. But this is, like you mentioned,
really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Against defenses that don't have near the talent of Ohio State. And I think the one thing they don't want to do is let Damon Williams beat them with his legs.
They don't.
And so I think they try to keep him in the pocket. I think they try to contain him. I think they try to obviously collapse in on him. But I'm with you. I think you could see the interior guys and the linebackers. They can eat a lot today. Because I think when you talk about the outside with Kenyatta Jackson, when you talk about Curry, I think they'll get some plays. But I think these guys are going to be more about containing the edge and keeping them from getting him outside of the pocket. And let those guys in the middle just have their way today.
Yeah, but it's not just the fact that, like, because you do realize Kenyatta and Caden can also play inside.
Yeah, they
right?
can slide into that. They can slide into that three technique. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I bring that up, is because I think those two can also play on the inside, which is why I think they can also have themselves a big game, because I think they can go toe to toe with those guards without a problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I would actually like to see them drop those guys down into that three a little bit, and let us see a little bit more of Bo getting getting in there maybe on the edge, because if you're going to use them more as contained, I like Bo Atkinson's length. I like the way he gets his hands up. I like the way he can disrupt without actually having to get a sack. But yeah, I mean, if you get a package in there where you get those two guys more in the middle, and let Bo and CJ come off the corners with their tremendous athleticism and length, and just you're right, that would be devastating, because I think they'll eat them up on the inside that way.
Yeah, not to mention what also gives me the confidence is how I think Ohio State is going to be able to stop this run game. Like Washington to me has a pretty solid offensive line, pretty good. But I think our defensive linemen and our linebackers are definitely going to be able to stop that run game, especially because Caleb Downs being the quarterback and the coach of the defense on the field. I think he's going to be able to have everybody set up in the right place. And even when it comes to Desmond Williams, like, let's say he does find a way to get out of target. Well, let's be real. I think we all know that Arbor Reese is going to be his spy. Like, he's going to be in the passing game, like, trying to make it look like he's passing. Like, he's going to try to cover to see if, Desmond Williams tries to throw the ball anywhere in his area. But I also think he's going to keep his eye on Desmond to see if he gets out of the pocket. He tries any bit to run, I'm going to get him. I think that's going to be their biggest game plan as well.
And can I tell you, yes, they've got three big name players. We've talked about them already, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think the whole key to stopping this offense is what you just said, and that is stop Jonah Coleman. Because if you stop Jonah Coleman, who is their leading rusher, he's also their second leading receiver. If you contain Jonah Coleman and give him problems all day, this team could not succeed. This will get ugly. It'll get ugly fast.
I think that's Ohio State's game plan. Again, I think that's Ohio State's game plan. Contain their three best players, especially their running back, and they will be able to handle their offense. Now, I do think they'll get at least 2 touchdowns at the utmost. And like I said, I think when it comes to our offense, I think our offense is going to have a field day against their defense. Now, I do expect them to struggle a little bit just because it's like the noise is going to be a problem with Washington. Of course it is. But they'll give it. They'll come through. I think they'll be able to handle the noise. Because if you watch me and Nico's show yesterday, we talked about how the offensive linemen, particularly, especially Carson Hinsman, had thrown out this phrase, poise in the noise. Poise in the noise, which I love that phrase. They have like some kind of plan to handle the noise, which I'm actually very interested to see.
Yeah. I think that's obviously, most places I discount the 12th man factor in most places, but Washington, Oregon, Penn State, those are places where I think the 12th man are critical. I think Iowa, of course, is another place where you look at the 12th man and they are a major impact. So I'm interested with you, like you, to see just what Ryan Day and this team has game planned to manage the noise. And we'll see how it works early. I don't think that the fan noise is going to be much of a problem after maybe the late second quarter, early third quarter, because I look for Ohio State to be up so much that the fans are just out of it. But
yeah, I'm just talking about like at least early in the game. Because that's what it sounds like. That they have one for early in the game, because I think they know if they go up by a couple of points that this crowd's going to be pretty quiet. But I will say that again. I love that phrase from Ohio State, and it's not just Oregon, Penn State, and Washington, because you also know like LSU, especially when it's a night game, they are just their atmospheres are ridiculous.
And I was focusing primarily on the Big Ten, but yeah, I was.
I mean, primarily in the Big Ten. I mean, well, you actually forgot one, Wisconsin.
The jumping around thing just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't get to me. It doesn't. I don't know.
I know it don't do it for you, but don't forget, like, we struggled up there before when they got loud. So it's like, and look, if I would say this, if Luke Fickell didn't try to change their offense immediately, try to change the identity instead of like, if he didn't try to do that and he kept the identity the way it is and built on it, I think this team would be so much better. And you would see Wisconsin fans being so rowdy like they were back in the day. Because, oh my God, I remember watching that with the Wisconsin games back in the day and how ridiculous it was. Listening, it was like, God dang, and our team was really struggling. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh
Well,
boy.
and that's part of it too, because if this was if you're talking about a Wisconsin in the days of Barry Alvarez, in the days of Brett Bielema, I'm more concerned. Yeah, I'm obviously more concerned about going up
I'll say this:
to
they're still kind
Wisconsin.
of like that. Actually, they're still kind of like that. Like if you really think about it, because even when they were like back when we had like Kyle McCord as our quarterback at 23, and we had Wisconsin in the night game, our team still had some problems, and their team was still there. That fan base was still loud. So like
Yeah.
they're still loud. They're still proud. It's just that they want to see their team do better. They're like getting real frustrated with it now.
Oh, I'm sure they
So
are.
it's like, you know, yeah. So it's like Wisconsin's still a tough place to play, regardless. Even no matter how good or bad the team is, they're still a tough place to play, regardless.
Oh, agreed.
But again, but yeah, no. If you had to ask me my score prediction for this game, I said 35-14 last time.
Yeah.
Because I believe Washington could get at least 2 scores, but I don't think they'll get a third. I think Ohio State goes up. And I think our defense handles business. And I also love the depth our team has, which is the other thing, across every single facet of our team, all the way from quarterback. Because regardless of what people think, we do have depth at quarterback, actually, which is hilarious, with Lincoln Keyholes. And I know people don't think Keyholes can be, but I think he can be a good enough starter where he doesn't lose us any games. He's actually good enough to be a starter. I would tell you this: better than McCord, better than Devin Brown. No offense to those guys, but I think he is better, especially with how much better he's gotten with his passing and how much more accurate he's gotten.
Yeah, and his athleticism can't be overlooked either.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's like we got depth from the quarterback all the way to our safety position on defense, like from all the way. And I can't wait to see this team. Like, I am so pumped to see the depth of our team continue to be built, especially because now you have an NFL caliber season, which I've always said this benefits Ohio State. If you turn college football into the semi-pros, it's NFL-like. Oh, that benefits Ohio State so greatly because they operate themselves like an NFL football team, and they operate themselves like an NFL franchise.
Yeah, it's exactly right. That's what I said. I said this, when this first started happening, that I don't like the direction that the NFL took. Or I'm sorry, that the college football is taken towards the NFL because I'm such a traditionalist. But I will say that I do believe that Ohio State has the best coach, the best staff, the best administration to handle an NFL light structure.
Yeah, and I think tradition would still be a thing in college football. Like, while it is going toward the NFL direction from say the playoffs to the rankings and everything, how it is going that way, I think tradition is still a thing in college football. Like, I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think tradition will always be a thing. It just separate itself from the NFL. I think tradition will always be a thing. I think that will always be it.
Yeah.
But I will say that the way it's going from an NFL standpoint, where it's semi-NFL, but it's still college football, benefits Ohio State so greatly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. So I did have somebody pop up a question in the chat earlier. And I wanted to get your opinion on this because you are a student of the game. Yeah, you watch a lot of football. You obviously study a lot of football. And this question was popped up in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Patricia versus Knowles, and take our fan bias out of the equation. Patricia versus Knowles,
mm-hmm.
Who is the best as far as whose defensive structure is the best?
Whose defensive structure is the best? Here's the thing. I'm going to say Matt Patricia. And I'm not saying Patricia just because I'm an Ohio State homer. Like, I've seen him in the NFL.
Right.
I've studied the game for a while. I love Jim Knowles' defense. And I said it. Jim Knowles' defense had NFL caliber potential. And this was back when I was on the Buckeye Boys, and even here on the OHL podcast, I said that before. He had NFL potential and defense. The problem is that defense is not versatile. It's not. It doesn't fit everyone. Like, you need certain players to have it fit. And in my opinion, it's what leads to so many holes that happen. Like, one of the things I've noticed with Jim Knowles' defense is how much running quarterbacks give it such problems, even though it shouldn't, if you ask me. And it's like it wasn't hard to figure that part out, how to deal with a mobile quarterback, but in his defense, that was always a problem. And not only that, but we also had times where we gave up big time yards in big time games. We also gave up like big time plays, like fully all the time. And it's because of how he called the defense, how he structured it against certain teams, when it should be based on what type of team you're going against and how you should play defense.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to the Oregon game last year, and it was like in the regular season. And again, we talked about it, how the players on that defense thought the defensive gameplay was absolute trash, and it was. It was one of those examples where it's like, you need to do better with your defensive game planning and your defensive calling, because you have to be able to do certain things other than just cage rush all the time. Like, you have to be able to find ways to get pressure without blitzing all the time. Like, you have the defensive front to do it.
Yes.
You do. You have the defensive front to do it. You need to be able to figure out a way. If you want to contain a mobile quarterback, you need to find ways to not only contain them, but also be able to get pressure without blitzing all the time by using your 4D linemen. Whereas with Matt Patricia, he's figured out how to do that throughout his time as a defensive coordinator. Like, you go back and watch him in the NFL. Yes, while he ran a 3-4 or 4-3 defense, it always depended on the personnel he had. As to why he ran his defenses a certain way. Now, I know in the NFL, his defensive linemen didn't always get pressure. I get it, but let's be real. The defensive linemen he had weren't really great. So, like, I think people have to remember that. The defensive linemen that the Patriots had were not always good. They weren't. So we had to find ways to get pressure just using them. And Matt Patricia's whole thing is, my defense is completely based on player personnel. Mm-hmm. How good my players are from the defensive line all the way to the safeties is how I run my defense. And I watch how he runs his defense now. I'm like, wait a minute. I love how he's running his defense. And I know we've seen some cage rushing, but he knows how to get pressure even with the cage rushing, because he knows he has the defensive line to do it. But he also knows when it comes to mobile quarterbacks, how he can get a hold of them, how they won't become such a problem for his defense. And given the fact he has the talent, he's like, okay, I rush 4. I find ways. I let my defensive tackles get up to try to get him, and to have my edge rushers set the edge. But also, there's a chance that he could find ways to get out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quarterback spy, which is Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, either one of the two of them, watching the quarterback, being able to react, while also being able to have my defensive backs and one of my other linebackers, whichever one of the two of them is quarterback spy, is also going to be watching in the passing game to make sure that, if a pass gets off, they're in a position to break it up at least. And the way I watch Patricia's defense fold is also by confusing the quarterback, which is something he does exponentially well. With Knowles, it wasn't hard. Like, his defenses weren't confusing. Even though it was hard to go up against, they weren't confusing. Like, you could see what kind of defense they were doing, but you needed to have the talent, in my opinion, to go toe-to-toe with that defense, which is why when I look at Knowles' defense, if he was still our defensive coordinator, I think our defense would have a tremendous amount of issues right now. Mm-hmm. I do. Yeah. Because who fits his style of defense on this defense of Ohio State currently? So, yes, I think if we were to have Knowles right now, the defense would have a ton of problems that we'd be looking at. Versus Patricia, where he figured out exactly how to use these guys. Like, he knows Knowles' defense. I think people tend to forget this. Ohio State still had Knowles' defense in their playbook. And he figured out a way to turn Knowles' defense into a full-on NFL defense. Like, he kept things the same, and he added little wrinkles. Right. And he kept adding more wrinkles to it. And he's still doing that now. Like, he's still adding more stuff to it, while also combining his own set of defense from the Bible, as he calls it, which is a whole defensive playbook of defenses from the 50s or the time of NFL all the way to, like, now. And he figures out a way of how to manipulate defense, how to make it look one way and then look the other. He figures out how to control the way the quarterback is looking at things, which is a reason why I think it benefits Julian Sayin, because him going up against that every day is going to help him learn how to be an excellent NFL quarterback and an excellent quarterback in college football, because that's what defenses do in the NFL, and that's what you should expect the best defensive coordinator, I would say, in college football to do against you, which is try to confuse you as much as possible. But that's why I believe Matt Patricia's defense is so much better. It's because not only does it help the quarterback grow, it helps the quarterback grow and the offense grow and lets them see exactly what defenses do, how defenses do things, at least the best defensive coordinators. But it also, against our opponents, makes it hard for you to understand what Ohio State's going to do. You don't know what defense they're going to play. You don't know exactly what they're going to do. Like, they could be in one formation, and then coming out of the post snap, it's a completely different formation. And as we've seen in college football, you don't have offensive coordinators like a Brian Hartline or especially an offensive-minded quarterback guru like Ryan Day. Because we talked about this with Dylan Raiola. He does not know how to get off his first read and how to scan the field. And you have a guy like Steve Sarkisian who could do it because he coached in the NFL, but you don't have that constantly in college football. You have quarterbacks that don't know how to get off their first read or understand how to go through their reads and their progression fully, like how you would see what Ryan Day's quarterbacks do, at least for the most part. There's only one that don't do that. And his name was number, I don't have to say it, number 6 in 2023. But outside of him, every other quarterback Ryan Day has can do that. Most of these quarterbacks can't do that. So it's a good way of confusing the offensive coordinator without knowing what they're going to run. And not only that, but Matt Patricia's defense is able to adapt to the offense that he's going up against as well. Whatever the offense on the other side does, he's going to adapt that defense to what that offense does from how he studies the clips and everything. He doesn't allow them to score first. Like, my biggest problem was Knowles allowed teams to score first. That was the biggest problem I had with the defense. I'm like, stop it. Dude, it's not hard. You watch film. Don't allow them to score first to see what they're going to do. You need to put together a game plan good enough to stop them on their first drive. That's what another thing Matt Patricia does. He understands what they're going to do. He knows he's not going to let them score first. He's going. If they do score first, it's because the offense did a good job and the defense may have made some mistakes. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
But with Patricia, he's able to really dissect what you're able to do. So that's why I think Matt Patricia's defense is better, because he's not just a mad scientist. I think he's the Albert Einstein of defense, because that dude is so smart with defense, so intelligent, knows how to break down offense, knows how to put and set up his players in the best position to succeed and really make it hard for offenses to understand what he's doing. It's what makes his defense so much better, in my opinion. Because with Knowles, I think when I look at his defense at Penn State, you're already kind of seeing some little issues that are happening with that defense right now.
Yeah.
Which, shocker, right?
Right.
So it's like, when you really look at it, I love Knowles' defense. Like, after 3 years, it's really good. Like, it takes 3 years to learn it, whereas with Patricia, it don't take 3 years. It just takes a couple of practices. It just takes a couple of moments. It just takes you understanding what he's doing. And he's going to break it down and teach it to you fully, to the best of your ability, and he's going to have you in position to succeed, which is why I love Patricia's defense more than those. It sets up players to succeed, and it is quick to learn and lets them play fast without thinking too much, because this is why a lot of our players have struggled in those defense.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about C.J. Hicks. Look how much better he looked at freaking Matt Patricia's defense versus Knowles. It's because Matt Patricia knows what C.J. Hicks can do. He sees it. He's like, okay, his problem is he's thinking too much. I'm going to put him in a position and set him up in the defense where he can think less and just go.
Yeah.
And you see how much faster he's playing now.
Yes.
So that's the biggest reason. That's why I think Matt Patricia's defense is better. Not because of bias, it's because of facts.
Absolutely. And I agree 100%. All right, TG Ham, we'll let you go. I've got to wrap this thing up because, hey, here in about 15 minutes, I got to get myself ready to watch some football myself. I got to hop on over and place some, let's just say some friendly wagers. So, hey, you have a great day. I would
love to come on the watch along with you guys.
I would love
to come on the watch along with you guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, well, I'm not sure who all is going to be on there today, so maybe pop in and check it out. See if we don't have a spot open still. I've been out of the loop for the last couple weeks, so yeah, I'm not sure who Corey has on with us today. So, all right, hey, we'll talk to you later, TG.
Talk to you later.
All right.
OH.
Go Bucks. All right, guys, that was TG. Hey, so it's come to that time. Before we wrap it up for today, it's time for the Wildman's Weekend Locks. These are my 5 game picks for you to ride with. And we are sponsored. These are sponsored by our sponsor, mybookie.com. So go on over to mybookie.com and don't forget to use the promo code OHIO to get started. Here we go. All right, guys. We're going to start with Ohio State. Ohio State is an 8.5-point favorite at Washington. The Buckeyes, they're healthy. They have depth. The Huskies are showing a vulnerable defense, especially if Takario Davis can't play. And my instinct is that he will not. I expect OSU to win this one comfortably. Go ahead and take the Buckeyes, lay the 8.5. Penn State, last line I saw, they are 3-point favorites versus Oregon. It's a whiteout, home crowd, Big Ten matchup, huge Big Ten matchup. Oregon's offense, dynamic. To me, statistically anyhow, Penn State seems to have the edge in defense and a little bit on physicality in the trenches. However, Penn State hasn't been challenged yet, guys. They have really not faced a team of quality yet. The Nittany Lions still have one major weakness, in my opinion, and that is James Franklin. Guys, I'm taking the Ducks and the points in this one. Give me the Ducks and +3 with them. Okay, Georgia. Last line I saw, 2.5-point favorites versus Bama. Guys, Georgia is out there. They haven't looked as great as normal. But you know what? They're looking to make a statement. Alabama's been inconsistent in the big road spots. I expect the Bulldogs to not only cover this, I expect them to smack Alabama around a little bit. But I'll tell you, take Georgia, lay the 2.5. But guys, here's another one. If you want to throw a little side bet in there, I want you to think about how bad SEC defense has been this year. Think about the scores. SEC defenses are down. This game only has a 53.5-point over. Take the over as well. USC at Illinois. This is another big one for Ohio State fans to watch. Let's see if USC is for real. Illinois is at home. They're licking their wounds after a bad beatdown that Indiana gave them last week. Can the defense bounce back? Can this offense put enough points on the board to outscore USC? I don't think so. Guys, I'm not sold on the Trojans as a legitimate contender yet, but I'm taking them versus Illinois, and I'm laying the 6.5. We've also got another big one, LSU, Ole Miss. This is a money line game, guys. It's only a 1.5-point spread. So in a road environment, considering recent momentum, LSU, they could win this outright. But I got to tell you, the Tigers are struggling to run the football a little bit right now, and that's a major concern to me. Unless this gets resolved, I think Ole Miss should be able to stay ahead of them most of the game. Guys, I don't believe in either of these coaches, but I believe in Lane Kiffin's offense more than I do Brian Kelly's defense. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to take Ole Miss on this one straight up. And hey, just kind of as a side note, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 1-2 right now. And they've got a big game coming up here. So I'm not sure. Notre Dame is playing Arkansas today. And, Arkansas, not exactly the best of the SEC, but Notre Dame's defense has been ugly this year. Chris Ash is not the answer, obviously, for defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. So, I don't know who to pick in this game. So let me tell you this. Given these two defenses, take the over. Take the over, and I'm going to give a slight edge to Arkansas on this one as well. If you want to make a risky bet, take Arkansas to win it outright. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Make sure you check us out again, 3:30 p.m. today. We will have myself and Dr. Corey on the Game Watch Party. Sounds like we might have another guest. I don't know. We'll find out for sure who all Dr. Corey has in the queue with us tonight. So that's again 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. The OHIO podcast game watch party for Ohio State versus Washington, right here on our YouTube channel. And guys, until then, good day, God bless, and go Bucks.